that cut off at a certain time. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I got one thing to do while, okay, I saw, here we go. Um, how do I get it? Okay, okay. Now we're rolling so I can play Miss Iris's commercial.
Well, my belief come from God, and my belief come from people.
Sorry about that, you guys. There we go. That's one, two. Okay. Waiting for it to download fully. I'm not going to start the show until I know it will be on here. It's always something. Well, I'll start the show. How are y'all doing today? I hope that y'all having a good day today. Today, I'm going on a virtual studio quest, and I am waiting for these two items to download. I'm getting a beach bubble. There we go. Yes. So anyway, like I was saying, we're going to do a virtual studio quest where I get online and I do two people virtual studios. So let's get started. And then I'm going to edit a video. Hmm. Copy. Go here. Give me a second, you guys. I have to find his email first. Oh, man. Let me write him. Okay, go to the next one. Let me share the screen with you guys. Okay. Can you please send your bio and picture to this address? The Kimberly. Okay. It went off? Wow, that's crazy the way it glitched like that. That's a hard thing to do to help law firms grow. That's a hard thing to do with clarity and credibility. What day? This is September 11th, right on 9/11. What time? 9:30. Okay. Um, Everybody look at your watches and look at your time. We are connected and in sync. I know that sounds weird, and I know I say some things that's weird, but we are connected. Now I'm going to do the virtual studio. Let me go ahead and take a quick commercial break.
Hey, precious Kimberly, it's Iris Barrett with honoringevents.com. Hey, I am so excited about my honoring event programs, and I really appreciate you bringing that information to your people. You know, people worldwide are discovering that when we take our honoring, our laughter, and our applause seriously, we create everlasting happy memories together. We absolutely do. And thank you so much for understanding that when we bring genuine appreciation, encouragement, and support to people, that's what honoring is all about. And that is how people thrive. They absolutely do. You know, I've always been a sort of keep it simple person, do it yourself person whenever possible. So I'm excited that all of my honoring event programs are available as affordable downloads. They're all on my Etsy shop, which is Evolving Genius Awards, because all of my honoring awards are in my Etsy shop as well. You know, everyone gets to discover how good honoring other people makes everybody feel and makes everybody look. You know, laughter and creative joy are the best medicine. They really are. Everyone knows it. Honoring makes everybody look and feel great. And starting new honoring traditions is important to me. And when is the best time to honor someone? Right now. So, Kimberly, I would like to honor you with a copy of my Honoring Tributes for Milestone Events. It's a wonderful download program that you can do, and I know that you will use it to honor a lot of different people. People use it for anniversaries, birthdays, retirements, graduations, lots of opportunities to honor people, and starting new honoring traditions is what this sassy grandma is all about. Also, because you are the humble visionary voice of so many unsung heroes, unappreciated heroes. And I really honor you for that. And I'm going to use my honoring process, my honoring tributes process, and I'm going to do a short and sweet honoring video for you. And it's going to bring me incredible joy because, again, I have discovered, as well as other people, that when we take our honoring, our laughter, and our applause seriously, we create everlasting happy memories together. And honoring people makes everybody look and feel great. Anyway, sweetheart, thank you so much. I appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you so much, Iris. You did a very good job. I don't want to cuss, but you did a very good job. Um, I couldn't even pull that off. So thank you for being a part of the Kimberly Cloud show now. And I will always play your show as well as others. Thank you. So let's get started again. Um, Hold on for a second. We're about to have the Roundtable Talk Show edited. I'm gonna try to do it every 2 weeks that way. And the next I'm gonna do it's on I don't know yet, but it's gonna be on something different than mental health. Okay, now I can show y'all if I see it. Ah, fiddlesticks. You've got to be kidding me, man. The mock interview can be deleted. Where is it at? Mock interview. Okay. Um, I just deleted it. Okay. Um, what movie is this? I am so disappointed. Why isn't this going through? Let me try it again. I'm gonna delete it and put it back on here. Oh my God, you know what? Um, and now it's up. That's the only thing, man. I'm not going to delete nothing until after my classes. Okay, it should work now, hopefully. I am going to choose another. Hold up. They're hiding stuff from me. If I can change, hopefully I can change this. I'm gonna go ahead and play another commercial. Give me just a second. After this part. Okay. I would like to say that what mental health means to me, um, it means a lot because it's what defines me as me. Um, it's like something I have to, it's like a life lesson. Once you know you have it, how do you maintain and fix it? And that is what mental health is about, maintaining and fixing as much as you can the negative symptoms. And I truly feel like mental health is something that is a catch 22. It's both a curse and it's a gift, because why would you want to be normal? Normal people don't understand people with mental health issues. Why be normal when you can have work through your struggles? And even people with struggles don't understand when they hurting other people and are doing things that, and maybe they do understand. They get a new shell and they say, I'm not going to let nobody in my shell. They can come this close to my inner self. They can come this close to my inner self. That's not how it should be. I shouldn't have to not be myself because, you know, you are not understanding of me. You know, you must have empathy and sympathy towards people that you don't understand. You should not try to sabotage. You should not try to purposefully do anything that is vindictive. You know, it shows. God, you know, like I said, behavior is like a thumbprint. You know, you can sense different behaviors. You know, I noticed that a person that knows a lot of people would not understand a person that is an introvert. They would not understand why they are or may be have followers but be alone like a star. You know, I noticed that, you know. And when she talks about self-identity, you know, my identity is different than Johnny's or Catherine's or Michael's. You know, my journey is totally different. I believe men get stigmatized because they are told not to cry. They are told to be strong. They are told to be the man of the house. And they learned that from the 1930s, 40s, and beyond that. You know, men has always, millenniums, well, millennias, they have always been known to have to be the strong one, you know, and since they're the strongest, not to show their feelings and not to try to grow and like have a sensitive side and grow by maybe one day you want to cry, your mother passed away. No, you got to be strong. You know, we must learn from men, and that's why some men are confused. You know, some men are confused about, you know, where they want to be, you know, because they are told not to. It's a identity crisis type thing, you know, where you're told not to cry and you're like, well, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna do this, and I love women so much, I'm gonna dress as one, you know, and yet they have this back and forth. They want to be a man when it's convenient to you them, you know, type thing, you know, and that is the identity crisis. And real men cry and get over it, you know. Real men, they cry they get over it and they move on. They have encouragement. Encouragement goes such a long way. When you don't encourage somebody, you're being selfish, you're being vindictive, you're just being selfish. You're being selfish. And that should be a sin not to encourage somebody, because when you know you're not encouraging somebody, when you know you're not encouraging somebody, you're doing it vindictively. That's why I brought up vindictive. It shows. Behavior is like a thumbprint, and mental health is something that men go through all the time. Mental health is something that men go through all the time. And you have people that are in the LGBT, and you have some men that really have good encouragement for people that are really needing, like they're not selfish. They're like, you're in my circle, I give you encouragement. Trump is the only one that gives me encouragement every day. He is the only one that actually text my phone and give me encouragement. Everybody else wants something from me. So, that is my encouragement. Without him, I would not, I would probably be the person without the encouragement that I get from him. And this has been a 5-year going on thing. My phone has been broken into, and I got to see exactly what certain parts of cybersecurity were saying. I got to see my phone, my old phone, when it was broken into. So yeah, this encouragement thing has got to stop with um, women not encouraging men, or women not encouraging other women, because it's wrong. Jealousy is, is so wrong. The administration, I know it's not coming from Donald Trump. Let me verify that. The administration, the Trump administration, cybersecurity, the White House text messages, Donald Trump's text messages, the administration text messages, you know, um, I appreciate that. If we don't allow our men to cry, they will be have identity crisis. Some of them, they will probably sit up there and have a lot of rage and hit walls. You know, that's why they do it. You know, because they you got some men that hit walls, you got some men that cry and it's just super duper depressed. They're super duper depressed where you can hear it in their voices. You got some men that want to give up on life. You got some men that, you know, it's just keep themselves busy so they won't feel depressed. You know, you got a lot of different personalities, but their personalities kind of like are the same, but their environment and what they do when they're in that environment plays a role too. If they're not getting the support, lashing out would be something that happens. We need a man perspective, don't we? You know, peel back the layer like a banana because they need healing. What layer is this? Your anxiety. You have anxiety because you don't know how you're going to pay the bills on time. Another layer, sit up there and figure out, you know, depression. I'm depressed because, you know, it something just is chemically not right with me right now. Another layer, you know, alcohol or drugs play a part, you know, or another layer. You know, these are layers to what I was saying, an extension of what I was trying to say. I can understand a little rough housing. I can understand a little rough because men, you know, are are like the scrubbing part to the scrubbing brush. The brush, the thing in the sink that you scrub, the scrubby thingy or whatever. You got the soft part and you got the harder part. Well, they're like, I don't want to identify them as this, but their personalities are, and I understand sometimes being like rough, but and I'm not talking about in a sense of abusing someone. I'm talking about in a sense as in maybe you want to arm wrestle somebody. Women don't do that. Maybe you want to do something that's manly, like, you know, I don't know what men do. I don't know what men do. A man thing, hey, I was going to say race a car, but that's illegal. you know um hey, I want to race him. I'm going to race you. I'm going to eat your dust. Or sort of like Guru off of that movie. He was like, I'm about to mop the floor with him. Like, men are competitive by nature. You get a man that don't know another man, they get competitive, and that's verbal roughhousing that they do to each other, you know. But when it becomes too much is when somebody is picking on somebody that's smaller than them or more non-muscular than them because they know they can get away with it. That is abuse. That's not roughhousing. But men naturally roughhouses each other. They hands clap and all that crap. That rhyme. Now, mind you, I got these questions from Chat GPT. I wrote my question out and in my own words. I don't copy. I wrote it out in my own words and said, "How would you say these questions in your words? How would you improve what I have to say in your words?" And one thing I do with my mental health is I internalize it. The one thing you can do that will ruin your mental health, that I sometimes slip and do is not work on deep breathing exercises and behavior. I do work on my behaviors, but when an event triggers it, and like I said a couple of days ago, I was hurt because my own doctor betrayed me. You know, I got into my emotions. That was when I should have calmed down. But I wasn't hurting nobody. I was speaking the truth and I was advocating for myself. But I think I should have been a lot calmer. You have to internalize your mental health and use it. Every time I go out, I encourage a woman. I'm not gay. I'm not lesbian or bisexual. Um, I would say that if you look good, you look good, whether old or young. I don't discriminate. And I encourage women all the time. I never been jealous of a woman. Maybe she got longer hair. Maybe she got, better like friends. Maybe she got what I don't have, a boyfriend. And I don't get jealous. I tell my story on my platform because it's therapeutic to do. If you don't internalize mental health, you will continue to complete the same pattern. I caught myself. I didn't go fully off. I caught and I saw exactly what was going on. And I caught it. It's so much easier to explode because you can't control your behavior than to control your behavior and not explode. When that behavior is changing, you have to check it. And that is something that I'm working on and getting better at every day. Just like what she's saying, just like what Nikki is saying, our defense mechanism, our behavior. You cannot control your behavior unless you learn how to control your behavior. How do you think some of these politicians, people be yelling at them and they be like, hi, they be smiling, they be getting them back, they're not going to let them get to them and ruin their space because of what they hate about that person. It gets to that point where you are they hate what you are doing. Certain people, like, this is a holistic approach. Like, everybody should take consideration, and I urge everybody to listen, that behavior is something that can be controlled when you learn to catch it, check it, and change it. You catch the behavior, you check the behavior, and you change it. And that's why I got off my video early, because I know when I'm right about something, I'll sit up there and I'll talk about it. And I'll get emotional about it. But that doesn't mean I have to be so emotional about it. All my family know when I talk about something that is right, I'll sit up there and I'll yell because people aren't listening. People aren't listening. So that was my mechanism, defense mechanism of getting upset. Now, you know, sometimes I check it, sometimes it slip. This kind of like slip, not all the way, but a little bit, but I'm checking it now, so that next time an incompetent doctor like her do that to me, I will be prepared. The patterns, you have to notice the patterns of what is going on. Like she said, you have to notice the patterns. When I make a new friend, if bad things are happening to me that I can correlate did not happen with that new friend, I'm going to end that friendship. If things start happening, like people start sabotaging my page, or stuff like my tire get a nail in it mysteriously when I don't go in places that have nails, two places that have nails on the ground, but you can never be so sure, stuff like that. You start to figure out, hey, look, is it XYZ? Like back in the day, people like Sigmund Freud used to use, I think it was psychoanalysis, and they had the psychosexual stages. And he would sit while the woman would sit in this long, drawn out chair, and he would listen. They actually have a movie. I have to watch that movie again. They had all the great 1940, 50 psychiatrists that ended up in the book, but it's a movie they made like back in 2019 or 2017 about them. But they would sit and they would listen to women, and back in the day when Coca-Cola was first established, you know, anything that happened to a woman, anything, if she complains too much, doctor, I don't know what to do. Like it used to be so much gaslighting. Sometimes the husband used to gaslight the wife so they can have other partners. It used to be that bad that, you know, if you spoke out of line to your husband and disobeyed your husband, you're going to be put on medication or worse, locked up. And that's what I read about in Coppin State. And that's what the Democrats do now. And it's happened as recent as 4 years ago with me, 4 or 5 years ago with me. They knew I was Republican and they locked me up. In California during Gavin freaking Newsom era. But it's okay. I sat up there and that same uh I can explain the story, how they kept me in for 5 days unconscious. I can explain the story, how I ended up in Santa Barbara from Santa Maria, an hour away, unconscious, and a Hispanic male is waking me up in a new outfit. I can explain how the doctor that sat up there and saw me said, let her out immediately. You know, I can explain all of that, but I'm not. I mean, I never said I was, I'm not going to explain how someone from the VA hospital of Santa Maria called and said I was being violent and lied when I got the transcript from the police department. I am sick and tired of mental health being stigmatized. It still happens. Some women still get illegally locked up. And guess what? I tried to sue for $3 million. They made it so hard for me. I tried to sue. And then I was being followed at the same time. Wonder who was doing that. You know, you had the judges of California sitting up there. They didn't want to see me get $3 million from Marion Hospital. That fell by the wayside. The statute of limitation is gone. Every time something happened to me, I have to suck it up. That will cause somebody like a train to explode out of their brains with nothing but black smoke. It's a tipping point when you keep saying something has happened to you. That is illegal that they kept me unconscious for 5 days. I didn't even know I was unconscious for 5 days until I saw my records. Another incompetent doctor, another incompetent doctor. I have to add Dr. Fromm. Another incompetent. I got videos on her. I think they should sit up there and really interview these doctors because I think a couple of them are good, such as my doctor in mental health, but I think they really should evaluate the VA doctors because that's not how they should treat veterans. Some veterans, I see why they get treated like crap, but I always give people the benefit of the doubt and come in with the truth. and I'm not even going to tell y'all how, as I was in the middle of getting my shot a couple days prior to that event happening, the woman that was Hispanic that was holding the needle said, "I'm the one with the needle. Whatever she shall had gave me, whatever she gave me caused me to have paranoid thinking, and I was telling my doctor, can you like put me on like what Shannon said, she was on Lexapro, and I was on a certain medication, and I asked to be on that medication, the pill form, and she sat up there and she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. And I'm like, why isn't she doing it? It's helping me. Every time something helps me, these doctors try to, they it's like they want us nice and docile and sick. Some of these female doctors or people like me that is Republican. Please don't use alcohol and Adderall. She used that as an example. You know, those those drugs right there. Like I, cocaine makes men aggressive. I've noticed because I've seen men that were actually under the influence of cocaine before, and it makes them aggressive and mad. So Adderall is like man-made cocaine, and alcohol causes aggression too. So imagine this drug, you know, with a man, and this drug with a woman, you know, um, that's why I've left everything alone, because these drugs, even man-made drugs, I don't use it. I use it as needed. I don't have Adderall. But if I am on pain medication, I use it as needed. I don't sit up there and overtake something. I did excellent for my oral surgery. I didn't sit up there and overtake nothing or become short of a pill or two or three or four or five, because I was taking it on time. I was taking it on time. And these drugs are out here. That pain medication, that ain't no joke. That isn't no joke. I done everything that they talked about, I done been through. I done been through. And I have overcame obstacles. But the only thing that scares me is that I need to work on my behavior. That is, I don't even, you never know what's going to happen in the future. What incompetent person is going to try to push your buttons? And you know, like For instance, a woman, I was putting flyers on the cars, and another woman, she said, "What the F? I don't want this ass." And I was standing right there, and she noticed it was me. And then she yanked her arm all the way out, and like she wanted to fight. She was like, "Here, I don't want this." I said, "You're acting so catty right now." I'm just looking at her. I'm like, "You're so catty." And then she's like, "Well, I've been through something today." I'm like, "What the fuck does being through something have to do with me?" I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. I'm like, because you've been through something, you want to get mad at me and say, and have a angry persona about you. I could have got mad. I could have got mad, but I didn't. Nasty people, man. Nasty. like, I didn't want to believe that they were trying to get to my doctor to have me readmitted into the hospital. I didn't want to believe it, but like when your own doctor, your doc, he can't say it. I catch on to hints, and he can't say, "Oh, well, this is happening." But he can say stuff like subtle hints, like, you know, your PRRC personnel came and started talking about you. And they always start off real nice, and then they say how they concerned. You know, it's sad. The only the person I have on my side right now is certain doctors, and I won't say their names, but they're, that's just sad. Every time I was talking about being followed, it was like it was a severe thought that wasn't true. Now I said I seen a shining light out of my sky, and it's probably like that wasn't true. That was a delusion because they haven't seen it. And like Michael Kiko say, we're all living amongst frequencies. There could be dinosaurs and other things living in your house as we speak. And because we're on a different frequency, we cannot see it. And that's just sad, man. I done been through a lot. So my life story isn't like her life story or his life story, But I'll admit, I got a little nervous. I was nervous on the show. This was my first time doing a roundtable talk show with women, and not men and women, you know. I was very, um, my mouth was dry. I was very nervous. If I had to give myself a rating for that video, I would say I did about an 8.5, because I pre-written down the questions, pre-wrote the questions, and I didn't want to make it about me. Like I said in my reels, I didn't want to make it about me. It wasn't about Kimberly Cloud. It was about what Shannon Curtis and Nikki prepared to be um, pursued, persuaded or pursued. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to damage it, but um, what they had to say to educate my audience. So, yeah, I wanted to get out what they had to say, and that's my goal. And next uh, time I do it, I'm going to do it even better than before. Um, this is going to be kind of hard to get people together on, but it's not going to be about mental health. It's going to be about something else that relates to me, that I can relate to and learn from. A different topic. Maybe AI. Y'all know how I like to talk about AI a lot. Um, I, I ask y'all to have faith. I may have mental health issues, but I'm a normal person, and I have feelings just as you guys have feelings. When I'm mad, I'm mad. When I'm happy, I'm happy. When I'm sad, I don't even feel sad no more. But it happens every once in a while, blue moon. But what I saw last night was not a figment of my imagination. You guys, I will never forget it. And if they are watching me right now, I appreciate you, showing me that, because people that watch me have to have faith and believe that I'm not just some overtly, severely bloated psyche, um, psychiatric patient that has issues and see delusions. I don't see things. I see things that's in on our frequency. I hear things that a normal person would hear. But what I saw yesterday was real. And I'm asking you guys to have faith and watch me. You have to have faith. Just because I saw it and you guys didn't see it does not make it unreal. I tried to get it on camera. It would have looked very good on camera, but as soon as I went to my bed, the light stopped shining. It was right over there by the tree. And there was another star. There was a star right next to it. Why would I put myself out there to look psychotic? Why would I ruin my show? That's why I do these documentaries. Why would I ruin my show by saying something that sounds a little off? You have to say that every man and woman that has ever came across an alien spaceship, generals, captains, colonels, was making it up. But what I saw wasn't a spaceship. It had no wings. It had no physical body. It was just a big bright star, just with lines of light coming out of it, right next to a star. Like it was, I mean, and the star was way out there. And it wasn't like this was a balloon. No balloon could do that. It was stationary, solidly stationary. And then the lights just went out. By the time I got the camera, I had to throw on some makeup, show y'all my bonnet, looking a hot mess, you know, and get on here and note what I've seen. Because I not only do it for you guys, I do it for myself. I was reading something and it said 1989. And I said, that's 10, 11, 11. No, it was something else that was right next to it. So I said 10, 11, 11. And then my phone lit up and it was 10, 11. It was 10, 11 when it lit up. And so I said, I laughed and I was like, you know what? I don't open my window much. Let me open. I mean, the window is open, but the blinds are never open. And so I said, let me, and this is like my third or fourth time opening up the blinds. I said, let me open up the blinds. Something forced me to open up the blinds. And I opened up, and there it was. Between 10:30, 10:14, or 10:13, I 10:12 or 10:13, I opened up that window, those blinds. Because it took me a while. I was just sitting here doing work, and I was like, okay, you know, I didn't even know what time it was. I was unaware, like I'm unaware of the time unless I look at it, or I um I have something happen to me. I'll look at the time. And I was unaware that it was like 10:09 or 10:08 when I sat up there and was saying these things. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. You just have to have faith in me. A total stranger, that there are spirits out here, because what I saw, I will never pretend like that did not exist. I will never pretend like something like that I saw. If I ignored something like that and not tell people, I would probably go to hell. So that was not a spacecraft. I mean, if you had to imagine, it just kept, it was like one of those things from 4th of July, that sparkle, that little string thing. I don't know what they call, but you sit up there and you light them, and they spark up. That's how I looked. It wasn't that either. It wasn't um firecrackers. It was something different. It was something different. It and I don't know what else to say about it, other than I will never ignore something that beautiful. I never thought in my lifetime I would see something like that, but I've seen 3 spaceships and a great alien before, and no one believes me. So I'm like, you know, it doesn't matter to me. Let them not believe. Let me keep believing and seeing miracles. And that's why I can see stuff like that, because I truly believe in it, and I truly represent them, especially fallen angels, the good, benevolent ones. And I sit up there, and I just, I love them. I love them, and I don't even know who they are. Just as well as I love aliens, and I don't even know who they are. Because I know that it's some type of force out here that's bigger than us, that can actually see how genuine and honest I'm trying to be. Based on 41 years of my life, 41 years of my life, not perfect, you know, based on how long, what mistakes I've made, what I've done. I've always been curious about those beings. Because I just, for some reason, people look at me and they think I'm weird because I talk about aliens and AI. I mean, the president of the United States talk about AI. But because a black girl talk about, because it's not normal for a black woman to talk about AI and God and goddesses and, you know, aliens and stuff of that nature. It's not uh normal. If you know, and I get it. I understand certain people's perspective. You know, it's weird, you know, but I can't help who I am. I cannot help who I am and what I have a passion for. I had just looked up and talked to y'all about aliens being a big spacecraft. I wonder if they listening to music or what they're doing in that big spacecraft, but it's a big spacecraft that's supposed to bypass Earth on December 17th. I've always been different. I'm not saying in the face. I'm talking about my brain has always been different than a typical person. I don't know why. I'm not My IQ is not where Albert Einstein IQ is or Stephen Hawking's, but I strive to learn about this earth. This earth have a story, and without this earth we would cease to exist. So I try to learn as much about this earth, about outer space, you know, since I can't go outer space, you know, and I I, I don't know. I will never forget that. I'll end there. I will never forget that. I will never forget it. I will never forget it. And I appreciate whatever it was in Seattle's airspace that maybe Seattle couldn't see, or maybe they can see in Fort Lewis Joint McCourt. It's right up the street. Who knows? I mean, it's 2 hours away. It's not that right up the street, but I know I was 30 minutes away from Vandenberg. I got very scared when I seen it because I don't usually, when the last time I seen it, um, they were all different. And I'll end here. I'll end by saying the first one, I was at Scranton, PA. That's Biden's territory. And it was speeding up. I was driving my Traverse and it was open. It's a lot of mountains. We were in the Napa area and it would speed up, stop. And I'm driving and I'm looking and well, it was on my left side and I'm looking, I'm like, what is this? So I try to wake up my ex husband and he wouldn't wake up for some reason, and that was one. The other two instances, I was in Santa Maria, and it was right in the sky, and everybody was going about their day. And this is right down the street from Vandenberg, like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm recording it, and those videos are gone. No longer do they, I try to find them, and I cannot find them. I tried to record it. It was yellow, red, blue, green. It was orbiting that color. And everybody, and 3 days later, on camera, a man with a pipe, or a week later, and it's on camera in the Santa Maria Police Department, 10 officers. One shot him with a beanbag. He he was right next door to, and I come outside. I used to come outside. I don't smoke no more, but I used to go outside to smoke a cigarette. And he was right there with a pipe, and they had to shoot him and execute him. The third time, I was at my old apartment, and something, a couple of days later, I believe, I can't pinpoint the exact time frame, but a car had followed me, a Tahoe had followed me and started recording me. And I recorded that. I woke up to a light blinking, orbiting those colors. And I said, I know this isn't the fucking spaceship. So I got up, and it was right there next. It was right there in the sky. I don't know how far in the sky, but it had hovered there. And I got it on camera, but it was so far away. Crap, this crap that I seen yesterday, last night, between 10:11 and 10:14, it was like 3D. It was like 3D. It was so close. And then it just cut off. If it was a firecracker that close, you would have seen it. It would have imploded and then dissipated. It doesn't stay in the air that long, that type of material. It's meant to, and it stayed solid. Those string of color, that white light, those white lights that I saw, for at least 3, maybe 5 minutes. A firecracker don't do that. Neither does the stick that it. So I take it as a blessing, and I appreciate it. And if it is some type of godly entity, thank you. Because now I get to tell my followers what I've saw or seen, and how it made me feel, so that they know that I'm not joking about what I'm saying. I have no reason to joke about what I say. That's why I don't even like opening those windows, because I know the last 2 times that it happened, but this was a different type of thing. It didn't look the same as the other 2 spacecrafts, or the other 3. So, yeah. But thank y'all so much for watching and listening and not falling off that line. I appreciate you, for not just running away of the unknown. I didn't want to believe it. I'll say this. I didn't want to believe it. I still don't believe that I saw that. But I seen it. And I don't even remember what I was reading other than the fact that it said I read the date of something. I don't even remember what I was reading. I was very into the wording. I was really into the wording. So I'm about to get off of here and get back on here and do a segment. I had to tell you guys that and that's why I urge the police and the FBI and the CIA and NSA and ODNI, you know, watch over me like whatever was outside is watching over me, because I know I've made some enemies agreeing with most of Donald Trump's lectures and speeches and whatever he said. So watch over me. Just as I saw that white light. It wasn't a solid white light. It was strings of white light. And that's what made it very unique. Take away Kamala Harris Secret Service and give me some Secret Service. So yeah, let me get off of here, y'all. Thank you so much, you guys. I love you guys. Take care. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Never waste my time.